This is your daily reminder to think about the glory of the Roman Empire. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a brand new mod that has just gone into its alpha testing phase, and you can help out and play it right now. This is Total War Bannerlord, a mod set in the very kind of beginnings of the Roman Empire. We don't have legionaries here. We have the good old classic, the bread and butter, the Principes, the Hastati, and of course the Triarii. So yes, this mod has just gone into its alpha testing phase. I'll leave a link to their Discord down below in the description. There you can go ahead and find the files as well as all the mods you need to actually go ahead and get started and having a absolute blast with this mod, as it does do a really good job of just kind of encapsulating the ancient world. They've gone ahead and implemented tons of new armors. There's so many different factions, and it completely changes up how you play Bannerlord, because at this point there aren't really any massive empires. There's a few very strong factions, of course, but nothing that just completely overwhelms you. So if you don't know, this mod does actually use Lemmy's Europe map. This has allowed the mod team to basically create this really awesome campaign for us without having to go ahead and spend the hundreds of hours that Lemmy has put into this. And that's honestly just one of the amazing things about what Lemmy has been doing, giving other modders the opportunity to create awesome mods on, his open source map. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the factions, kind of a handful of the units, and then we'll dive into a battle and the video. So what factions do we have on the map? So of course we have the Romans. They're going to go ahead and be chilling obviously in Rome. They have a handful of settlements. I believe they have a castle. They don't have a castle. They just have these, they literally just have Rome, and it's going to be a really interesting campaign to go ahead and try and build them up from kind of the starting point. So of course we have the Principes, and this is going to touch on one of the pretty interesting custom mechanics that this mod does have. They have the urban troop tree, and then they also have more of a rural troop tree. So the urban troop tree, you're going to be finding just obviously recruiting soldiers in actual cities, and then your rural recruitment is going to come of course from all these villages. So there's going to be two completely different unit trees. So of course if we go back to Rome itself, we're going to be finding the Principes as the main kind of bulk of this force. They're going to make up the majority of our soldiers, and they're of course going to be equipped with the better equipment, have better stats, better armor, etc. I will also mention as well that this is built with RBM compatible, both the AI and the armor module, which I think is really cool. The fact that you can go ahead and play with both of them is absolutely awesome. And then of course you also have the Triarii as well. This is going to be the noble Roman troop tree. So we have the Triarii. There's going to be a mix of kind of them more traditional shields, and kind of as they slowly start to get away from more of the kind of hoplite variant of Roman. And then of course you also have the Equite armor. Again, looks absolutely beautiful, really nice. I believe half of the a lot of the assets are either from Garretish from the Eagle Rising mod, or Scarilla, who also has just actually posted one of his mods as well on Nexus Mods with his massive armor and tons of Greek armor. Looks beautiful. And if we go over and take a look at the kind of the basic troop tree, these are going to be, so there you go, here we go, we have the Hastati right here. This is going to be the rural recruitment for Rome, and again you can see much less lightly armored, not as good stats. Their equipment is going to be as deadly, and there's much more variation in the armors as well. So only so many soldiers are going to be given, javelins to be thrown at the enemy. We also have obviously the more skirmisher variant troops, and also some slingers as well. So a nice little mix. Rome obviously has a very good roster, and a very exciting one. So down in the south, of course, we have like the Samnites and the other more kind of Greek-influenced Romans. And again, they're going to be kind of dictated in a completely different roster. So already we're like one settlement away, and there's already a very big differentiation on the type of units you're going to be recruiting. And again, they have their city recruitment, and then they also have their base recruitment. Again, going to be sharing similarities with the Romans, but also differences as well. I kind of like that. I like the fact that you're going to be kind of messing around. If we make our way over to the Macedonians right now, and we can take a look at some of their troop trees. Again, this is going to be heavily focused on the pikemen and the cavalry. They start off with some pretty basic pikemen, and then they end up going into some pretty elite pikemen who are going to be dominating the battlefield very, very effectively. And I will say as well that spears and pikes and stuff like that work really well in RBM, so you won't have to worry about vanilla spears and hoplites being absolutely trash, because with realistic battle mod, they do a great job of actually coming alive. We're also going to, of course, have access to the Macedonian cavalry, and they are going to be deadly on the battlefield. I imagine just some absolutely brutal stats here: 260 one-handed, 270 polearm. Yeah, they're going to be dominating the battlefield. The Athenians in the south as well look amazing. Some of their kind of noble troop trees look just incredible. The armor is amazing. Yeah, the helmets, oh, it looks so good. It's going to be definitely a lot of fun building these guys up into a very, very deadly shield wall. As I said, RBM does a really good job. Now, because this is Lemmy's Europe map, and Lemmy's Europe map isn't exactly set for this time period, it's more of a I guess a later medieval time period the map is inspired by. It does mean that stuff like this kind of has to just go along with the era that they're doing. Sparta, unfortunately, is just a village, with the main faction being over here on Crete and obviously on Knossos, so that does kind of, you know, take away a little bit of the immersion. However, this project is still in its early stages. I'm sure later on down the line, you know, maybe with Lemmy's help, or maybe with someone else who actually is good at map modding, they can go ahead and add additions to this map to go ahead and obviously give the certain factions the correct settlements that they desire. You know, Sparta probably does deserve a, you know, a settlement, you know, change some castles into cities and cities into castles. That's something I'm sure the mod team will be looking to, you know, looking for help on, and, you know, maybe, you know, again, replace and make it just feel a bit more antiquities rather than you're having a windmill fluttering around, you know, kind of adding more flavor is something I'm sure they'd love to do later on down the line. And again, if anybody wants to help out, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to accept. Over in the east, we do, or west, I should say, we do have the Carthaginians. Going to be a very, very exciting roster of their soldiers. Really, really nice. Again, this is going to be the urban recruitment, and then if we go over to a village, we also do have the rural recruitment. You're going to have a lot of these like Numidian soldiers, which are going to be making up a nice little kind of a lighter part of the cavalry. You're going to have, yeah, a lot of lighter infantry mixed in with your elites if you desire to play as Carthage. And again, there's lots to go ahead and pick from. I think if you're playing in like the parts of Northern Africa here, you're going to be able to utilize a lot of the tribes, the Numidians and Messalesles. Like a lot of factions around there are going to be brutal. And yeah, that is just kind of scratching the surface. As I said, we go up to the north, we have the Gauls, and again, there are some different variations in the Gallic armors depending on what tribe you go to. The Germanians are going to be slightly different than say the Gauls, and then the Spanish are very different as well. And there's some uniqueness in between them cultures as well, because there is no big power block. There's a lot of tribes in Spain, for example. You can see that, yeah, this faction is pretty good. I think pretty much every single faction has 2 clans to go ahead and balance it out a little bit. But some factions, of course, will have more castles, like this main dominant Spanish faction right here, the Arabasi, have what, castle, castle, city, castle, castle, compared that to like Rome, who only has 1. Or, for example, over here in Carthage, you know, a lot of stuff is going to really kind of just dictate the map and the field. And that's not even to mention over here in the east, you know, we have a ton of different factions down here really ready to experiment with and push in and kind of check out completely different units. And again, I didn't even go ahead and take a look at, say, some of the Scandinavians. I think the Scandinavians are one of the factions that haven't really got tons of custom assets yet, but there's still absolutely you know, tons of different variations. These are going to be the Ptolemaic, so you can play as kind of like a Ptolemaic Egypt. I definitely think a Macedonian campaign or a Pergamon campaign would be just an absolute blast. And again, as I said, every faction has their unique differences. There are tons of different armors. Another great thing as well is because this is on Lemmy's Europe map, you actually do have access to the entirety of naval travel as well. Unfortunately, there are no naval battles as of right now. It'd be really cool to get some custom models and effects, and I think a handful of mods are really starting to push that naval side of things when it does come to Bannerlord. I know In the Name of Jerusalem 2 have their own custom naval battle system that is actually pretty well developed now and looks really, really cool. I know the Japan mod are also working heavily on having like an actual like kind of fleet like a fleet commanding battle where you command ships and stuff. So yeah, maybe that's something we could see in this mod much later on. And that's not even to mention as well that in the next Europe map update, this entire section of the map going into obviously Muscovy, Russia, and up here into Finland is getting an update. Kievan Rusk is being added, which should implement a much larger thing. You can even see that Lemmy has kind of soon TM'd it right there on the map. So as the Europe map does improve and update, so will this mod, adding in more factions. Okay, so we're in the battle now. We get a nice little look at some of the units. You can already start to see immediately how beautiful these armors are. So I've got some Tarentine cav here, beautiful skirmishing Greek cavalry in the back there. We have some more of the Macedonian cavalry with their huge pikes ready to smash in. Our infantry, I mean, this is going to look beautiful. I've got a mix here of Carthaginian. I've got a mix here of Greek and Macedonian. I guess more Athenian and Macedonian. Hoplites right there, looking beautiful. And then in the back, I've got my Slinger force, a nice little mix of Iberians. We've got some Numidian skirmishers back there, and even some Libyan and Greek archers. If we take a look at the other side of the battlefield right here, you can see some of the Romans mixed up, and also these Imperial banners look beautiful as well. Very, very nice stuff. So a nice little mix of kind of like the kind of hoplite variants of the Romans as they start to really transition out of this type of combat. Lots of javelins, again, going to be their real strength, I think, for the Romans. Is all that skirmish capability. One thing I hope the mod does do in this update, as they continue to kind of work through this alpha, is actually replace all the heroes with the custom armor. It's all in the mod, they just need to go in and kind of do it. And I imagine it's very time consuming, but it's always super immersion killing, I think, for me personally at least. I don't know if you guys agree, when you do see like a vanilla Empire Lord, which, oh god, look at that as well, it's already clipped, good old tail worlds, compared to something like this, you know, which looks beautiful, really, really nice armor in there. So yeah, it'd be really, really cool to kind of see them go in and do that. I know a lot of the, I guess, more barbarian-esque lords do have a lot of vanilla assets still on them. So yeah, again, as I said, it'd be great if they just did like a big sweep and went through it all. Let's see what the Greek cavalry is made of going in. This Greek cavalry as well will be way better when they update to 1.2 for sure. And you can already see, like, look how much more deadly hoplites are. In vanilla Bannerlord, they would just get run through right there. But the hoplites do a very, very good job. You got the slingers now winding up and unleashing their stones on the enemy shield walls. We're gonna get closer. We're gonna form up into our shield wall. I think I actually might personally go in and die, so we can really well like see this properly. Oh, here they come. Yeah, the Romans are on their way. Let's just go in and we'll die ourselves, so we can watch the battle properly. Oh no, unfortunately my hoplites actually broke formation though as they go in. But let's see how they fare. So these are like some of the best units in the game, and already, I mean, just look at that. It looks so good, doesn't it? They form like a very defensive shield wall, and this is what I'm saying. Hoplites work so well in RBM, even though we are getting, you know, smashed down slowly but surely. But look at that, like, soldiers are actually hitting overhand. Their shields are doing great, and in shield wall they're also as well just effective. I mean, it's mainly my own units getting cut down there. But yeah, it looks awesome, doesn't it? Really, really cool. And this is hands down definitely one of the best kind of Greek experiences we have right now. With Eagle Rising not having their Greek scene quite yet, you're definitely going to have a lot of fun there. And then there you go, we go down. So hopefully this has given you a good idea about the mod. Definitely go over and check it out for yourself. As I said, you can play this right now. It's on the currently, 1.1.5 or 6, whatever version of Bannerlord we're currently on the stable build. So definitely go check it out. I'm probably going to be doing some content on it in the future. If that's something you want to see, please do go drop a like and a comment down below. It really helps out. Also, we are currently closing in on 220,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. As I said, it's a massive help and I really appreciate it. And yeah, let me know in the comments what faction you would love to play as in this mod, and I'll see you in the next one.